Despite a decade of commercial cannabis operations, San Diego lacks a crucial element, a social equity program.
One of the very first things that I did as a council member was convene a group with then council member Chris Ward. And we collaborated then in 2019 on how we could establish a cannabis equity program in the city of San Diego. Even in the assessment, it reads all of the major cities have one. We're the second largest and we still don't.
This review is for Roll-Up for Equity. This is visually appealing with lots of footage from the history of cannabis legalization in California, from the medicinal use and the hurdles of traditionally underserved and over-criminalized communities, specifically Black and Hispanic, and their efforts to attain social justice through different fronts, specifically to get licenses to operate or distribute cannabis stores and that have through history just benefited a few, a very privileged few, whereas most of the damage or negative impacts has been on these two communities in general and specifically. And they tell some stories and testimonials of how cannabis has either impacted their life or destroyed it at some point, and then how it is important to hear the different voices to attain real social justice and equity.
Roll Up for Equity is a documentary that has a campaign, a cause. As we can see that I think the strongest story is one of the advocates in the documentary that we get to follow in the story. A gentleman shares the story about how he finds himself stumbling across a dispensary of where he was once arrested. And now a dispensary stands there now, owned by the people who essentially have put this divide against him. And so we get to have these type of stories about these people with felonies and how it truly affects them. A strong statement that's made within this piece is, I'm 45 and I still can't have the due diligence to have a rightful place in the workplace even. And so I think this documentary does have those nice, meaty stories that matter, that can be shared for advocacy and legislation. And in addition to that, I think it shows a nice set of not only interviews and news clips and things of that nature. I think it gives viable, important information, normal among many of the few different organizations mentioned in the documentary. These are really big companies, really big organizations making movements in California legislation when it comes to cannabis use currently, today, in the now. So to be able to have these sorts of mentions only makes this documentary all the more credible, all the more resourceful, and more importantly, important to get that story out there so that people can get equity, people can get reparations, people can rebuild. There's still lots of movements as far as the cannabis industry goes to be improving from the mistakes that we have chosen to make in the past.
Roll Up for Equity. I thought this was really well done. I thought it was really informative because it was definitely a situation that I hadn't really been exposed to before and wouldn't have known about without this. And I think that they did a really good job in educating not only what Roll Up for Equity is and the different organizations that are supporting it or, all trying to fight for equity, but also they did a good job of explaining how it came to be, why it is, and what they're actually doing, what their actions are to try and move forward, and what the situation looks like, and what its kind of current status is, and then what they're trying to achieve moving forward. I thought I did a really great job of explaining all of those things because, like I said, it's something that I don't think that I really would have been exposed to without this. So getting all of that information was really, really helpful for me because it gave me like a full picture of what they're trying to achieve, why they're trying to achieve it, and how the situation came to be. And I think that is, kind of the point of a film like this, of, you want to spread awareness, give knowledge, and explain what your drive and what your, motivation moving forward is, and get people as informed and involved as you can. So I think that this film did a great job of that.